Hi. We're going to talk about quality assurance process on the restriction using SQL. My name is Simona Pop, and here is Lăcrămioara Maghiar. We are from Map Analyst team. Welcome to the NAP. I don't know, is there anyone who ever heard of OpenStreetMap? Okay, so there are a few ones. OpenStreetMap is a collaborative project, open source, which has as a purpose to create a pre-editable map of the world. We edit a lot of map features in our daily work routine, and one of them is the turn restriction map feature. There are several map features which are very important for routing. There are turn restrictions, road geometry, road name, direction of flow, or signpost. And after we edit these map features, we have to make a quality assurance of them to make sure they are correct in the map. So I think everyone here knows how a turn restriction looks like. In OpenStreetMap, when we edit a turn restriction, it's like a more complex relation which has three members. It has a from way where the restriction starts, a to way where the restriction ends, and a node or way which connects them. We've edited turn restrictions in Canada, and over 90% of all OSM edits over turn restrictions are edited by TeleNav Map Analyst team. We mostly use OpenStreetCam and Mapillary, which are some platforms which collect and provide level street imagery that we use as sources. For a turn restriction, there are several queries we run to detect some errors that appear along the editing or a long time, because working with OpenStreetMap it's quite interesting sometimes, because the community is involved as well. So we make these queries to identify the errors. For example, for a turn restriction with an incorrect number of members, I said before that a correct turn restriction is represented by 3 members in usual, and we create a table which extracts from a database all the restrictions in the OSM data, from the OSM data, and then we delete those ones that are correct. And then the files provide the ones which are with an incorrect member of turn restrictions. After that, we take their IDs. Every turn restriction, every relation has a unique ID, which we can download from this table we created, and we download them in Java OpenStreetMap, the editor for OpenStreetMap, and after that we correct them. So that's one query we use for incorrect number of members. I think the next will
Okay, so as we said, a correct term restriction must have 3 members. So that we detect, you have in the first image a term restriction mapped with 4 members. So we detect this term restriction incorrectly mapped, and lastly we delete the extra member, so that in the last image we have a correct term restriction. Another problem that we correct in the OSM regarding term restrictions are the conditional term restrictions. Conditional term restrictions are the restrictions which restrict the terms in an interval of hours or months. In order to these conditional term restrictions to be processed by the application, it needs to be in the correct format. So in the last image, in the white image, in the last table, you have the correct format of the conditional term restriction that can be processed by the application. And this is how it looks in Java OpenStreetMap. We find the conditional term restriction, and here there is an image, the last image with a conditional term restriction. You can see the interval of hours. And we map these term restrictions correctly, as you can see in this image on the right. There are a couple of more problems that we correct regarding term restrictions, but as a few conclusions, in order to be correctly mapped, term restrictions must have 3 members, and the conditional term restrictions must be mapped on the new format. And SQL queries are very helpful because compared to other open source programs that we use, like QuantumGIS, it's very efficient and rapidly. We obtain the results very, very rapidly. Thank you.
Questions? I have a question here. There was on the where query, there was a condition the member to be equal with 3. And why 3? Not 4 or 2?
As I presented, this is the right form of a restriction. It has to have a way. Yes, a way where the restriction starts, a way where the restriction ends, and a node that connects them. So it's correct to have 3 members. So in the query, we deleted those ones with 3 and remains the ones that...
Yeah, sounds good. And you have volunteers or basically all the people are working right now for other companies?
Sorry, we have what?
Volunteers to update the maps?
Well, on the lab, we, the team of map analysts, make all the work, but as if OpenStreetMap is a free editable map, anyone can edit. So anyone can add a turn restriction on or a road or everything.
And in Canada, for example, we are working there intensively. There is a very highly active community that is constantly adding features to the map.
Okay, so not necessarily another company, but the community. Sounds good. Okay, thank you.